We've seen some amazing things, but that, my friends, is something we've never seen.
Brandon Cruz wants advice.
Brandon Cruz wants advice.
Brandon wants advice.
Brandon Cruz wants advice. You have locked yourself into the playoffs.
Nice. Got it.
Talk with old Brandon Cruz wants advice.
Completely speechless, to say the least.
Man, I am honestly so baffled by that decision. Brandon Cruz wants advice. It's Brandon wants advice.
Green flag in the air. Brandon Cruz wants advice to the front.
How are you guys doing? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is the Brandon Cruz Daily Fantasy Podcast video, and I'm recording this at 2:19 a.m., so just a heads up, this is going to be a way quicker video than normal, mainly because I work at 10 o'clock tomorrow, guys. I just want to get this out. I want to be consistent and just have it to where I've actually put out a video. I think I've only missed, I haven't missed a Cup Series. Holy shit, dude. We're like over 18 races into the season and I haven't missed a Cup video. That's incredible. As Kyle Petty says, that's incredible. So let's get right into the Gander RV 400 for Pocono. So who am I looking at based on qualifying position? People that just stand out to me before we even focus on before we even focus on points and practice and all that. Austin Theriot starting 38th is interesting. Ross Chastain is interesting. Now, why are these people interesting? Well, it's going to be, there's 160 laps at this track? I think it is. There's not a whole lot of Dominator points to go around, so it's just going to be one Dominator, everybody else based off of place differential and where they can go. Now we did have some guys go to the backup cars. For example, I know Kyle Larson wrecked. Kyle Larson wrecked actually pretty good. Actually, he smacked the wall and smacked the inside wall. I think coming out of turn 2. Yes, yeah, coming out of the tunnel turn. So that was quite interesting to watch. But looking at, like I said, I think those two punts based on qualifying positions are good, and then I'm going to go into some statistics after that. Obviously, Ty Dillon starting 32nd. That's going to be interesting. I think he'll gain ownership this weekend. Kyle Larson starting 29th is going to carry a lot of ownership. And now remember, this is an impound race, and they will inspect the cars tomorrow before the race. So I expect to see at least like one or two guys fail qualifying and be moved to the back, and so always keep that in mind. Then we got Chris Buescher and Matt Tiff starting 28th, 27th. Bubba Wallace started 26th and Priest started 25th. You know, the only guy. The only guy other than Larson Beck here that I like is Chris Buescher. And then moving on, you got Newman, Elliott, Hemrick, and Menard starting up here now. Once again, I am a fan of Hemrick this weekend. Obviously, Newman, Elliott, Hemrick, and Menard, these main guys, and Blaney too, actually. So everybody's starting 20th to 24th right now before the inspection. So that's Newman, Elliott, Hemrick, Menard, Blaney. I think if you can figure out this ownership, you're going to be in really good shape. Obviously, Hemrick's going to be the lowest owned out of those five guys. Due to that, I really like Hemrick. I think Stenhouse starting 18th is a very, very good play there. Low ownership. People are going to be overlooking Stenhouse. They're going to be focused on other guys. And just lineup construction based on DraftKings pricing is going to really make it difficult to use Stenhouse. I think people will just go different directions. Clint Boyer, Alex Bowman, and Brad Keselowski starting 16th, 15th, and 14th respectively are guys I'm interested in. Denny Hamlin showing some speed on the long run I'm interested in as well. Truex, not focusing on him. Not focusing on Kurt Busch, William Byron, no. Kyle Busch, possibly. Jimmy Johnson, no. Austin Dillon, no. Eric Jones, no. Eric Almirola, no. And Joe Logano, no. And then Harvick. Now, Harvick is starting there, but Harvick's starting on the pole. But recent history has shown that the pole sitter does not end up leading a whole lot of laps here, and there's not a whole lot of Dominator points to really go around. So that's how I'm kind of looking at that. A guy that I see as a dominator. And okay, so I think it's 2 out of the last 3 races. The pole sitter has not led the most laps, nor has he won the race. I think this race will continue that trend, only because if you look at 5 to 10 lap times in final practice, you have Kyle Busch. He's the best 5 lap consecutive guy, and then he's third on 10 lap averages, and everybody else who's in front of or who's around him kind of disappear. Other than Jimmy Johnson is showing some consistent speed here, which is quite impressive. It's probably the 18, the 4, and 48 showing the most consistent speeds between 5 and 10 lap averages. Now, granted, there wasn't a whole lot of people who did a 10 lap average. I think there's only 13 people who did a 10 lap average in the final practice, but Kyle Busch was first fastest 5 lap averages, and then he was third fast 10 lap averages. Jimmy Johnson second fastest 5 lap averages, 7th fastest 10 lap averages, and then Kevin Harvick 8th fastest 5 lap averages, 6th fastest 10 lap averages. Based on that, obviously those 3 guys are probably the best. Denny Hamlin is also showing up on there. Denny Hamlin was 4th fastest 5 lap and 2nd fastest 10 lap. So honestly, the way I'd probably lean to it is having Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin in the lineup. I think that's going to be cheaper than a Harvick and Denny Hamlin lineup, and Kyle Busch provides you a better roster construction. He's not killing your lineups, if you know what I mean. Let me go to the stats that I wanted to look at here. Let me see. There's not a whole lot of stats that I really give a shit about. It's Pocono. People know that I hate Pocono. I call it on the cop because I need a reason to like it. Talking about lineup, I'm just going to talk about lineup construction. Fuck that. Let's say, for example, I like Kyle Busch, and let me get him in here. I like Denny Hamlin. Let me get him in there. If you start your lineup with Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin, you're at $6,875 on average. Now, if you're going to continue with that, price is pretty soft this weekend now. Sorry. Now, why am I focusing on Austin Theriot? Austin Theriot. I'm not even sure how you pronounce his name. Wait a minute. I think it's Reed Sorensen. Hold on. I have a Reed Sorensen. Is Reed Sorensen sponsored this weekend? I just went blank. Let me see this. Yes, he is. Yes, that's what okay, so Reed Sorensen is a guy that I like because he is sponsored. He's starting 36. I understand that. He is not the strongest punt you want. But typically, all you want from a punt is someone who can actually finish a race. Reed was 35th fastest first practice. He was 34th fastest second practice. Ran 16 laps second practice, and then the first one I think he ran 9. Yes, 9. So he has 25 laps of practice on there. And look at this. Reed Sorensen is $5,100. Let's say, for example, you use Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Reed Sorensen. That leaves you $7,400. Now, where do you go? Do you go with what I was saying, like right now? You like how Ricky Stenhouse looks? Well, you can very easily shove Stenhouse and Menard in there. So you shove Stenhouse into that lineup. So you got Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Reed Sorensen, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. That's $7,700 left on average for the last 2 guys. You can either go down or go up, and depending on where you go, you can throw in Elliott, you can throw in Clint Boyer, you can throw in Kyle Larson. Like, it can go a whole lot of ways, but I think an interesting lineup is going to be doing something along those lines, and I think I'm going to actually end up following that lineup in some form or fashion, just because I'm doing 1 entries into these. Now that football season is back. Speaking of that, ladies and gentlemen, my football rankings are out, and you know, other than the fact that I fucking threw in a fucking running back into my wide receiver list, I'm actually looking forward to it. I got a lot of stats to support what I'm saying. I got a lot of gut feelings to support what I'm saying, and yeah, I made those videos to show you who I'm targeting in drafts, who are my personal favorite wide receivers and tight ends and quarterbacks that I'm focusing on. Tomorrow, Monday, running back video will be uploaded before the end of the night tomorrow, and then on Tuesday a statistical analysis of the DraftKings Millionaire Maker, and then I believe the Eldora Derby is that Wednesday or Thursday. Just went blank on. I know it's this weekend, and then we got fucking football. We got I'm sorry. We got football back. Preseason football. Love the first game of the preseason. Not sure how it's going to go showdown wise, but I have been fantastic in preseason football these last few years, and all the weird weeks like week 17 preseason. I love this year. I love this time. It's always so volatile for DFS. I seem to do well in it. So guys, please follow me on Twitter. Check out my fantasy football videos, and I shall be here. You know, after you watch, come back, tell me that you enjoyed it or disliked it. Follow me Twitter, check out my Patreon, support me please. And as you can tell from my whatever accent that was, I'm falling asleep. So guys, best of luck. Like I said, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, 3 best cars on the track right now, and I throw in Jimmy Johnson too. Not a whole lot of dominator points. You're going to want people who you think can finish in the top 20, and if maybe even one punt. You know, that's how I look at it. So guys, best of luck. Don't get married to your money, and see you on the flip side, homies.